Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today where we have got an F1 23 season mod. Yep, it's that time of the year, and this one is pretty damn epic from the Venturi Creative Studio. A full grid of 2023 liveried cars to the best ability, of course, using the original chassis, because if you know anything about the F1 game and modding, there are a few limitations to what you can and can't do with the livery mods using the original cars, which obviously are the best way to go, because you want that kind of realism of every car looking different in shape, not just livery wise. So there are some limitations here, but to all intents and purposes, they've done a fantastic job at imitating the 2023 season, and of course also comes with all the driver changes, the overalls, helmets, etc. for the different drivers. Also the Alpine in all pink for the first 3 races of the season. And so in today's video, we're going to be driving the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and continuing the 2023 season off the back of the real-life Bahrain Grand Prix. So Alpine still in pink, and you can see the differences and notice the differences maybe between real life and what we can do and what's possible in the game. You know, the AlphaTauri with a little bit less red, the Aston Martin actually with more green on it, which is actually probably a positive thing, to be honest. There's actually less weight stripping available right now with this mod, and actually the cars have a bit more color about them, to be honest. So in many ways, some of these mods actually make the cars look better than they are in real life, one could argue. And at the very front of the F1 23 grid, it may not be so exciting with Red Bull dominating it all, but behind, I think I can safely say that first opening race has really energized the excitement for that battle behind the Red Bulls, with Fernando, Alonso and Aston Martin right up there. But surprise, surprise, it's a front row lockout for the 2 Red Bulls of Verstappen and Sergio Perez at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Then the Ferraris come with the second row lockout. Today we're going to be driving as Fernando Alonso, so we weren't right up there. It's the Mercedes third all row, but our teammate did well. P7 for Aston Martin alongside Gasly and his new Alpine team. Then comes Norris and Esteban Ocon rounding at the top 10. Then you've got the 2 Alfa Romeos unchanged. Nico Hülkenberg back in Formula 1 for Haas alongside Albon, and Piastri making his debut in Formula 1 this season alongside Tsunoda, Magnussen and Logan Sargent, another rookie on the grid. And then we have ourselves as Alonso, and, well, it's Richard Verschoor here on the grid because De Vries is not officially in the F1 game whatsoever, so there's no way to get him into the game nicely, so I just put Verschoor in there, a Dutchman for a Dutchman. But we go to 5 red lights here to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and it's a last question mark race here effectively, but in this brand new all-performing Aston Martin, I reckon we could aim for where Stroll is, and even higher. As we know, the Aston Martin race pace seems to be a lot better than Mercedes, and even Ferrari, arguably, with Carlos Sainz being overtaken fair and square by Fernando Alonso in the Bahrain GP. We make a great sequence of overtakes through the first couple of corners in Sector 1 to get up into P17, and now we can stretch our legs a little bit and chase after the pack of Hülkenberg. But it's all so tight up there that there's going to be some fighting going on between the AI, and that's going to help us out. But we're closing up to Hülkenberg. His return to F1 wasn't such a great first race for him at Bahrain. I guess unlucky in the race. Did well in qualifying though, so I suspect we'll see more from him, to be honest, if we can get a bit more luck in the race. But we make easy work of him as we're just getting used to this nice and nimble and pretty feisty Aston Martin, good in a straight line and very pointy and responsive on the front end. As we saw in real life, I've also put a performance mod on here, so we have the true Aston Martin pace, so we should be aiming for the Mercedes, if not more, if we can climb up this order and get through this very tough mid-pack as we now close up to Alexander Albon, the lead Williams. Can we make a little dive on the inside, I wonder? We think about it. We're going to go last minute. It's a little half lunge, and Albon caught napping a little bit on the inside. I wasn't sure because the AI do love to close the door on that last corner around Saudi, so wasn't sure, but we went for it late on into the corner. And now, side by side with Oscar Piastri into turn 1. He's going to keep it in the inside, but we'll just have the momentum to get the overtake done on the outside into the inside of turn 2 and get onto the back of Guan Yu Zhou as Bottas making moves on Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. Stroll up the road has overtaken both Mercedes, I think that was, on that replay ladder on the left-hand side. So I think Stroll showing that Aston Martin race pace there as he's up into P5 and we're up into P12 after about 1 1/3 of a lap. I think that's pretty good progress, and we're going uber aggressive on Bottas on the outside of the banking. So close to the wall and his car on the left-hand side, but we have that confidence to plant the power as ahead. Russell struggling with Pierre Gasly for company in P7. Another, star man from Bahrain. Very underrated drive, I feel, from P20 up into the point, showing that Alpine do actually have some proper pace here. They just need to get it right on Saturday and, completely iron out all those howlers of errors they're making with this man, Esteban Ocon, at Sakir. But we've got a big gaggle of cars. Ocon, Norris, Russell, Gasly, and Ocon overtaking Norris. Gasly having to defend from Russell. Russell locks up, Ocon locks up, and Ocon goes through on all three of them. Ocon basically made a three-man overtake there. Wow, oh wow. All racing here today with this F1 23 mod. Only lap 2, we've seen so much action. Russell squeezes us right to the wall, but we're going to have the confidence and just the determination to get through into P9, into points, and now we have to try and overtake Fernando's old team in pink, the Alpine boys. Gasly first, then Ocon, and then we've got free air to chase after Hamilton and Lance Stroll. Bit of a gap then to Ferrari, so in a 5-lap race, it may be difficult to catch them, but you got to say, I think to be fair, I've done quite a good job with the performance mods to figure this out, because I think over a 50% race distance, we would probably be able to catch the Ferraris eventually, which is, I think, quite realistic in the end for the Aston Martin race pace. So, and Fernando Alonso would be wringing the neck out of this car to recover positions if he was to start towards the back of the grid, now that he knows the performance of this car. As we overtake Gasly, and easy work with him, and then with DRS here with Ocon, it's going to be it's going to be easy work, but not without a little bit of iffiness there, as I thought Ocon may just squeeze us into the wall. We give him a squeeze for good measure on the exit of that corner, but we had to lift off just as we opened DRS, because I just wasn't sure if there was going to be no love lost between Ocon and ourselves as Alonso. But Hamilton's up next, Stroll in P5, and, kind of like Bahrain, the two Ferraris giving Perez a bit of a headache there and keeping him honest, but Verstappen out in front, 3.2 seconds, dominating this entire race, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the exact scenes you'll be seeing at Jeddah in 2 weekends' time. Verstappen and that RB car just look at one this season, and with Ferrari dropping a bit of pace in quali and the race, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. But behind, as I said, in this sort of region of the race, there's going to be hopefully some mega excitement with the Astons taking the fight to Mercedes and Ferrari. And just like it was the case of Bahrain, it's Alonso versus Hamilton. We're going to go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton side by side all the way through the banking. Hamilton on the right, us on the left, driving as Alonso, and he's maybe got us on the exit. It's going to be nearly banging tyres as we continue the fight through the next quick right and then left. Hamilton inches away from the wall, and we get the last laugh up into P6. But it's going to be a great Formula 1 season if we see Alonso and Hamilton just like that, just like Sakir, battling it out, race after race. If Aston are close to Merc, and obviously Alonso versus the Ferraris as well, his old team, and maybe a bit of revenge taken from his side. But up front in this race, as will be in real life, it's a 1-2 for Red Bull. Perez is now pulling away from Ferrari, and Ferrari actually too busy fighting themselves maybe. But on the last lap, we're going to get on Stroll on the outside with the DRS aided just before that left and the end of Sector 2 to get up into P5, the maximum we could have hoped for in this 5-lap race. But like I said, in a 50% race or more, we probably could have caught the Ferrari, looking at the pace we had, and it would have actually been quite a respectable effort. But the Ferrari's fighting on the last corner. Stroll, to be fair to him, actually gives me a fight into the last corner as well, and actually may have gone for a re-overtake if it wasn't the last lap of the race here today. But we finished from P20 to P5, pretty damn decent. But that was a little taster maybe of F1 23 in terms of the game and the gameplay. Of course, hoping that the new game improves even more with the AI performance and the behavior, etc. And, but, you know, as mods go, yeah, Venturi Studio has, you know, smashed this out the park in a very timely manner. So, yeah, if you want to check it out, if you're on PC, then definitely do so. If you want a flavour of F1 23 on this year's F1 game, the current one. But Verstappen wins it with his new red-topped helmet. He's also an EA Sports ambassador, actually, and sponsored by them. So, EA, quite literally, is in the game when it comes to the F1 23 game coming up later this year. But a familiar side that we're going to have to get used to, guys, unfortunately. We have to bow down to our Red Bull overlords, as it will probably be P1 for a Red Bull of some kind in most of these races, as George Russell has said. I mean, let's hope for some craziness to maybe help that out and get a couple of non-Red Bull wins, but at the moment it's looking pretty ominous in terms of their pace. But yeah, like I said, let's hope for that Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes kind of group to give us some interest, and hopefully, you know, the likes of Alpine and McLaren can pick up and also give us some interesting fighting going on behind as well with the other teams around them, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams, of course, as well, who are not too shabby as well with 1 point already on the board. But that has been this F1 23 season mod gameplay. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.